In this episode of Page Odyssey, I'm binding one of my travel journals. Watch me turn these scribbled pages into a nice booklet like this, and give these journeys the binding they deserve. See you in the video. I started travel journals a couple of years ago to log what I was seeing and experiencing in the moment. I could record videos or even audio, but I prefer the more intimate way of writing. For this trip in special, I wanted to make a little booklet to share the experience with my family members and friends. Making this book was something very gratifying, since I had to transcribe my handwritten text to the computer and later typeset it to make it something more professional and certainly easier to read. While transcribing the text, I was able to revive the experience of walking the Camino de Santiago with my family again. Whenever I talked about the experience with friends, I showed the little book and people right away wanted to borrow it. What you are looking at now is me measuring the craft paper to the size of a letter paper to later print out the cover using my printer. Here you have the results. For the text block, I typeset and imposed in one single signature like a booklet. As you can see, the book is written in my mother tongue, Portuguese. I took care to add some AI-generated engravings based on some photos I took to give a little charm to the journal. After checking out if every page was in order, I started folding the sheets in half to make it easier to work with. When all the sheets were folded, I did the same to the cover, not worrying with the excess paper in the edge. With the cover and the text block aligned, I took out my bookbinding cradle to punch the holes. I did it by taking just a few pages at a time to make it easier to punch. The method I was planning to do is the same used in my moleskin DIY. You can check out my other video in this channel. That's the reason I'm punching so many holes in sequence. For the cover, I did it in the opposite way, so the frame paper is facing the inside of the book. For sewing the book, I used the same technique as the moleskin from my other video. I chose a gold-colored thread which will look great with the dark red from the cover. I placed the book opened in my finishing press and started cross-stitching with 2 needles, one in each end of the thread. Once the sewing is complete, I trim the edges to give it a smooth finish. You don't need to rush here. Give it several cuts with a utility knife until you go through all the pages of the book block. To make the cover pop, I wanted to give a golden touch in some of the lines of the cover. So I picked up this gel pen in gold color and carefully started tracing some of the frame lines. I took care to not go right after where I just traced because the ink takes some time to dry. So I did the opposite sides first. Let the ink dry and then continue to trace the rest. For a final touch, I wanted to add a Tolkien style map. I can't draw, so I had to find a map with the exactly route my family and I did. I luckily found one on the subreddit Imaginary Maps from the user AnyDept1426. But before printing, I had to vectorize it for a better print quality, and for the way we walked, I did a dotted line with a red pen. I then glued to the end of the book and trimmed the excess paper. And there it is, the finished travel journal. I had a lot of fun doing this project for many reasons. Having it carefully written, typeset and bound, so you can just take in your hands and travel again in your memories. If you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe and leave me a comment suggesting some content you'd like to see here on the channel. Until the next one, see you!